Alright, all the assembly is complete and I've primered a lot of them. Last night I managed to both assemble and primer all of my tactical squad and the Dark Angels that I got with a box of paint that were a surprise to me. They came out pretty good. I did make an important discovery, and that is I love painting miniatures. I love making terrain. I don't love assembling models. I didn't really like making models when I was a kid. But it wound up being okay, and by the time I had finished all the ones last night, I'd really gotten it together, and my assault squad came together very quickly. Was surprised by the amount of stuff you get that you don't necessarily have to use, and all the extras, which once I figured out that you don't have to try to find places for all this stuff, that you just have lots of options, I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't use a whole lot of the extras. I'm keeping things pretty simple since I'm a newbie. And then we'll see. And also, between those 3 boxes, I've got, right now I'm short 5 miniatures to have 2 tactical squads. And I've got at least 5 of the front breastplates, front part of the torsos, 5 heads, tons of arms and weapons, and 5 sets of these backpack things. So I've got some ideas up my sleeve to see what I can piece together. Some things I learned. First of all, choose the proper type of adhesive. I started out trying to use super glue gel, which is what I use with a lot of my projects. Didn't work. So I quickly switched to something that had a much greater goo factor so that the things would hold pretty quickly in place. I built from the bottom up, and I found it a little tougher to attach the arms and things once I got the torso under the legs. So today when I did my assault squad, I did the torsos and arms separately and then added them to the bottom half before I tacked on the other parts. Another thing is that these great big backpacks or jetpacks or whatever they are, they go on better if you put them on right side up. Yeah. Not proud, but not gonna lie. Every stupid thing I do that I tell you about is a stupid thing you probably won't do. Overall, I think they're pretty good. The only pose that I don't like amongst my tactical squad is this guy, because to me he doesn't look like he's brandishing his weapon. It looks more like he thinks it's too heavy and he's trying to handle it. Here, hold this for me. So yeah, don't love him, but 1 out of 10 is not bad. The Dark Angels came together very easily because most of them were molded in one piece and you only had to glue on like 3 things. I think, you know, the uniformity stands out when they're grouped together. I think mixed in with the rest of the squad and painted the same, they'll work pretty well as extra of whatever I decide to make them. The big difference though is they have this winged cross on the shoulder. Going to have to do something about that. I don't know if maybe I can just paint over it in solid color and not highlight it, and maybe that will, and then maybe put, you know, whatever logo that I choose, put it over the top. That might work. Might have to rub in some green stuff or something. We'll see how it goes. It's not a huge deal to me since I'm new and this is my learning army, but you know, I want to make it nice. As far as my assault squad goes, as you can probably see, the legs are different. These guys almost look like they're tensed and waiting, whereas the assault squad guys are in a more active position. Had a little concern as how solidly they would stay, so with each one I put some super glue under and slid a little piece of gravel under there. Might not help at all, I don't know. It just certainly isn't going to hurt, and then once I put on the sand and the flocking, it's not even going to be noticeable. So just a little thing I did extra. I might have tried too hard to give these guys cool poses. Some of them I'm pleased with, some of them are kind of weird. This guy, from some angles he looks like he's running, but from others he looks like he's stumbling. I'm already thinking of him as Sergeant Stumble. This guy's okay. This guy's alright. This guy, I think I turned him a little to the left. It looks like he's charging the enemy, and then suddenly he saw Katy Perry and like, woo! So, yeah, call him Lefty. And this guy, I don't know, with the way he's leaning back, he looks like he's doing the hokey pokey, and he just put his front side in, so I call him Hokey Pokey. I imagine he'll be the member of the squad that the other guys pick on. Maybe he's a hick from somewhere in the sticks. Anyway, yeah, those 2 I don't love. Mostly they look good. I like these really big melee weapons, so I gave everybody, even though there are some things that make this squad stand out, the different packs, the subtle positioning of the legs, just to give them their own identity, I gave everybody a large melee weapon in the right hand, and except for the guy with the shield, they all have a ranged weapon in their left hand, and they all have something on their left hip, again except for the sword guy, because the shield guy, I didn't think it would really show up anyway. So that's where we are so far. We'll have to primer this squad and start some painting, and I'm still conflicted about what scheme to use. I went to bed last night definitely planning on doing Sons of Medusa, but then as I was clicking around YouTube trying to learn some things, I made the mistake of watching Flaming Griffon tutorial, and I really like those two. And then I might have mentioned in the previous video, there's a camo version of Flaming Griffon that looks good. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint, one of each and see which one I like best, and then whichever one I don't choose I'll have to paint over. So I just need to not glop the paint on too heavily, but that's better than just locking myself in without trying it. So once I've primered these up, our next step will be some painting.